That house you're obsessed with right now, that beautiful kitchen, the renovated bathrooms, the perfect backyard, it could quietly become the biggest financial mistake you ever make. And most buyers don't realize it until after they close, because some homes are specifically designed to distract you from the expensive problems hiding underneath. Foundation issues, hidden water damage, bad flips, failing systems, problems that can cost you tens of thousands of dollars after you already own the house. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the biggest red flags buyers miss, how sellers hide these issues in plain sight, and what you absolutely need to check before you make an offer on any home. One of the biggest financial mistakes buyers make is they shop emotionally before they shop financially. And honestly, it's understandable because buying a home is emotional. You walk into a beautiful property and immediately start imagining your future there. You picture family dinners in the kitchen, watching movies in the living room, summer nights in the backyard. You start mentally moving in before you've even looked closely at the house itself. You already are placing your furniture in your head, deciding which bedroom belongs to which kid, and thinking about where the Christmas tree is going to go. And that's exactly why buyers miss problems. Because when emotion takes over, logically usually takes a back seat. Your brain actively starts making excuses for the property because you want it to work so badly. Sellers understand this, realtors understand this, home stagers understand this, and that's why homes are designed to look warm, bright, clean, and inviting. They use strategic lighting, fresh flowers, modern staging to create an aspirational lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just good marketing. But sometimes those cosmetic upgrades distract buyers from things that actually matter financially. They keep your eyes glued to the eye-level beauty while your wallet is exposed to the systemic failures underneath. Because buying a home isn't just buying a shiny watch. You're buying every future repair, maintenance issue, and hidden problems that come with it too. And you're inheriting the history of that structure. And the scary part is many of the most expensive problems are things buyers never notice during the quick showing. You have maybe 15 to 30 minutes to look around during a showing. And it's incredibly easy to be blinded by the shiny new backsplash in the kitchen. And that's why today I want to walk you through the exact red flags I would pay attention to if I was buying a home right now. Red flag number one, and it's a big one, foundation issues. If there was one thing you never want to underestimate, it's foundation problems. Foundation is literally what the entire home sits on. If the foundation shifts, cracks, or starts failing, everything above it is affected too. Floors become uneven, doors stop closing properly, walls crack, windows shift. Think of it like a domino effect. When the base moves, the structural integrity of the entire framing compromises. And the reason why this gets so serious financially is because foundation repairs are incredibly expensive. And this isn't a small cosmetic issue. This isn't like swapping out a broken light fixture or patching a small piece of drywall. Depending on severity, foundation repairs can easily cost tens of thousands of dollars. In major cases where hydraulic piers are needed or walls have to be completely rebuilt, it can even go well over six figures. I actually have an example of this. I had a client that came to me a few years back to sell a house off Main Street in Vancouver, and their intention was to fully gut the interior of the house aesthetically, and then live in it, sell years later. And they had done this multiple times with different homes over the years. And 2016, 2017, if you remember, was a highly competitive, subject-free, multiple offer type of market. They secured this house for a very good deal, what seemed to be a very good deal, only to find out later in discovery that there was a major foundation issue. I think it cost them about $300,000 before they even got to the interior. So what would have been I believe a 1.3 by a $300,000 reno, and I believe he sold the house for around 1.75, became $300,000 for the interior renovation and $300,000 for the foundation issue. So you do the math, this can happen. So it's very important to obviously get your inspection. And if you, from that inspection, a good inspector will recommend that you hire a structural engineer if you see any signs of foundation problems. Now, here's the problem. Most buyers don't know what foundation issues actually look like. They walk into a home focused on granite countertops and nice flooring while completely ignoring the structural warning signs around. They were looking up the beautiful light fixtures instead of looking down at the baseboards. And one thing I always tell buyers to stop looking at the finishes for 1 second and actually study how the home feels structurally. Treat your first walkthrough like an investigation, not a shopping spree. Look closely around the doors and windows, Diagonal cracks coming from the corners can sometimes indicate movement in the structure. Now, to be clear, not every crack means disaster. Houses settle over time. It's normal. Cosmetic cracking can be normal, especially in newer builds and areas with highly expansive clay soil. But when you start seeing multiple warning signs together, that's when things become more concerning. Open and close every interior door in the house. Seriously, every single one. If doors are sticking, uneven, not latching properly, or rubbing against the frame, that can sometimes indicate movement. Your inspector will do this anyways. Walk slowly through the property too. Do the floors feel sloped, uneven, bouncy? Your feet can actually tell you a lot about the home. If you feel like you are walking uphill to get to the master bedroom, or if you feel a strange trampoline effect in the living room, that's a massive clue. And if there's a basement, pay very close attention to the horizontal cracks or bowing walls. That's when things become much more serious. Horizontal cracks often mean hydrostatic pressure from the outside dirt pushing against the walls inward, which is a massive structural failure waiting to happen. Another thing buyers miss constantly is fresh paint. And fresh paint makes a home feel newer and cleaner, but sometimes it's also covering up the cracks or previous water damage. It's the ultimate cloaking device for a seller and is the cheapest. Just run your hand along the suspicious areas and look for uneven surfaces, patchwork, or areas where it's inconsistent. If one wall in an unfinished basement is suddenly painted bright white, you need to ask why. Now, here's the important part. Foundation issues do not automatically mean you should run away from the house. What matters is understanding the severity of the issue and whether it's been properly repaired. If the seller has documentation, engineering reports, warranties, or proof of professional repairs, that changes the conversation entirely. If a reputable company fixed it and transferred the lifetime warranty to you, you might actually be more stable than a house that hasn't been touched. But if there's obvious movement happening right now and nobody can properly explain it, that's when you seriously need to consider the purchase or get in a structural engineer like I mentioned before. Because once you own the house, the problem becomes yours and the bank won't pay for it. And the previous owners will definitely not pay for it. It comes straight out of your bank account. Red flag number 2, the home is being sold as is. This one should immediately make you feel uncomfortable. On paper, it sounds like an innocent fixer-upper opportunity, a chance to build some quick sweat equity and a score deal. In reality, it's an often massive blinking neon warning sign. Let's break it down exactly why an as-is property demands your absolute caution before you sign away your life savings. When a seller tags a home as is, they aren't just saying the kitchen cabinets are dated and the carpet needs a good steam clean or even an interior reno. They're usually waving a white flag. More often than not, it means the property is in seriously rough shape. In the worst case scenarios, it might even be legally uninhabitable. You also see this label slapped on court-ordered sales or foreclosures. And these properties caught in legal limbo where basic maintenance has become completely abandoned for months, if not years. The seller is telling you up front, what you see is what you get, and what you can't see is your problem. So why do sellers do this? It's the ultimate legal escape hatch. It boils down to one word, liability. In a shocking number of as-is sales, the owner has never actually lived in or seen the property. Maybe it's an inheritance, a bank foreclosure, or a rental property managed from a different country. They genuinely have no idea what's wrong with the place, and frankly, they don't want to find out. By listing it as is, the seller is legally washing their hands of the property. They don't want to be held responsible for a cracked foundation, ancient plumbing, or unpermitted basement suite, or black mold, or you name it. They're choosing not to be liable for things they claim to have no idea about, effectively passing 100% of the risk straight to you. The second the papers are signed, the music stops. The house immediately becomes your sole, undisputed responsibility. And if the roof collapses 20 minutes after you get the keys, that's your bank account crying, not theirs. Because of this, you cannot just breeze through with a standard run-of-the-mill home inspection. You have to be ruthlessly thorough. This is the moment where you need to bring in the big guys. Don't just hire a general home inspector for this. You might need some specialized heavy hitters. If it's a 90s home or older, you might need asbestos mitigation experts to test those old popcorn ceilings and pipe insulation. You need licensed electricians to ensure the wiring isn't a hidden fire hazard waiting to happen. You need structural engineers, mold remediators, and plumbing specialists with sewer scopes. If you miss a flaw before closing, you own that flaw forever. Look, Buying an as-is home isn't an automatic deal breaker if you are a seasoned contractor with deep pockets and a crew on speed dial. But if you're a regular home buyer looking for a bargain, remember, as-is means you're liable for everything. Don't let a tempting price tag blind you to a financial money pit. Do your homework, bring the experts, and protect your future. Of course, an as-is sale can be a great opportunity, but you need the right team around you to know how to do it. Red flag number 3, the neighborhood is worse than the house. A lot of buyers focus so heavily on the home itself that they completely ignore the neighborhood. But here's the reality. You can renovate a house, you cannot renovate the location. We've all heard the saying. And location impacts almost everything long term. Your quality of life, your resale value, future appreciation, safety, noise levels, even your stress levels. And location of your home is, again, where your kids are going to be most of the time when they start going out of the house on their own. You can build the most luxurious mansion on earth, but if it sits next to a commercial landfill or high crime corridor, it will never hold its value. Pay attention to the homes surrounding the property. Are multiple houses for sale in the same street? If everyone is trying to escape the block at the same time, that's a clear warning sign. Are there vacant or boarded up homes nearby? Is there an obvious neglect or deferred maintenance everywhere? Overgrown lawns, junk cars, broken windows, or neighboring lots will directly suppress your home's equity. Those things matter. Buyers come to the table and they start looking around and getting serious. They definitely matter. And one thing I strongly recommend is visiting the neighborhood multiple times before buying. Take a 10-minute walk, go up and down the side streets. Do not only visit during a quiet weekday afternoon when everyone's at work and the street feels peaceful. Go at night, go on weekends, and go early in the morning during rush hour. Neighborhoods can feel dramatically different depending on the time of day. And sometimes buyers fall in love with the property only to realize they live beside constant traffic, loud neighbors, barking dogs, industrial noise, or unsafe activities nearby. That peaceful street at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday might turn into a chaotic block party at 10 p.m. on a Friday. Another thing buyers underestimate, bad neighborhood can absolutely hurt their appreciation. Properties or declining areas can drag values down significantly. Real estate values are heavily tied to the comparable sales in the immediate vicinity. And that's why you're not just buying a property, you're buying everything around it too. You are purchasing a stake in that specific community on that specific block. Number 4, big ticket items nearing the end. This is where buyers get caught financially all the time. Most people walk through a property focusing on cosmetic upgrades while ignoring systems that actually keep the home functioning. They fall in love with the waterfall island in the kitchen, but fail to look at the rust gathering at the base of the water heater. The roof, the furnace, the air conditioning, the plumbing, the electrical, the water heater. Those are the things that quietly destroy your budget after the closing. A beautiful kitchen doesn't feel nearly as exciting when you suddenly need a $15,000 HVAC replacement 6 months later. Suddenly, that brand new refrigerator doesn't matter because you're freezing in your own living room. Always ask the age of the roof. Most asphalt roofs last around 25 to 30 years with good maintenance. Look for curling shingles, missing shingles, or visible wear. Look for heavy granular loss in the gutters, which indicates the shingles are near the end of the functional lifespan. Check the furnace and air conditioning systems too. If they are older, rusty, noisy, or poorly maintained, mentally prepare for replacement costs. And look for service stickers on the inside of all the units. If it hasn't been serviced since 2012, it's a bad sign. And this is where affordability can become dangerous. A house may technically fit your budget today based on your monthly mortgage payment, but if you inherit multiple failing systems at once, your monthly costs can explode. If your roof fails, your AC dies, and your water heater leaks in the same year, you're looking at a massive financial crisis. This is especially important for first-time buyers who are already stretched financially just to get into the market. Water heaters are another thing buyers overlook constantly. They typically last 10 to 12 years. If it's bulging, rusting, it's a ticking time bomb. If you see older panels like Federal Pacific, take that seriously. Those have known safety concerns and have been linked to house fires and should absolutely be evaluated by an electrician. In fact, some insurance companies will refuse to insure a home that has these types of panels installed. Older plumbing can become another major expense too. Galvanized pipes and poly B plumbing, which we've all heard of, have caused major issues for homeowners over the years, leading to hidden leaks and sudden drops in water pressure. And the important thing here is understanding the true cost of ownership, because your mortgage payment is only one piece of what home ownership actually costs. You have to account for capital expenditures and have money aside, like I mentioned before. The good news here is that these issues can often create negotiating leverage. Unlike cosmetic opinions, where a seller can just say, well, That's a matter of taste. These are real documented costs with contractor estimates attached to them. That's why you'd want to bring an inspector and maybe a contractor before you remove subjects. So if major systems are near the end of their life, use that information to your advantage during negotiations. Red flag number 5, DIY and unpermitted work. Some of the worst issues in homes come from well-intended homeowners trying to do major work themselves. They watch a few internet tutorials, think they're handy, head to the home store and think they can rewire a kitchen or add a bathroom. And the dangerous part is a lot of it looks perfectly fine at first glance. The tile looks straight and the lights turn on. Unpermitted work becomes risky because it was never properly inspected or approved by the city. There was no independent expert verifying that the work met local building codes. And that means electrical, plumbing, structural changes, additions, or renovations could all have hidden issues behind the walls. Fire hazards, structural instability, or improper venting could be lurking just out of sight. Pay attention to the inconsistencies throughout the home. Do outlets look mismatched? Does plumbing look patched together with random fittings under the sink? Does the finished basement feel poorly done with low ceilings or weird layouts? Does the square footage match the public records? Garage conversions and basement renovations are very common in areas where buyers run into permit problems. A seller will claim that it's a 4-bedroom house, but public records show it's a 3-bedroom house because the basement expansion was done completely off the grid. And here's what a lot of people don't realize. Once you buy the house, these problems become yours legally and financially. If the city discovers unpermitted work, they can force you to tear it down, open up the walls at your own expense, and pay retroactive fines. In some situations, insurance companies can even deny claims related to unpermitted work. This is a big one. If unpermitted electrical circuit causes a fire, your policy might not cover a single dime of damage. That's why you need to ask direct questions. What renovations were completed recently? Who completed the work? Was the licensed contractor or the seller's cousin? Were permits pulled? Was the work inspected? If major electrical structural work was done without permits, nobody can properly verify the quality of the work. That's absolutely something to take seriously. Do not just accept a verbal assurance that it was done right. And here's a bonus red flag, the cosmetic flip. Now, I want to be fair because not every flip is bad. Some investors do incredible work and completely transform a neglected property. Maybe it was one of those as-is homes that we talked about earlier. They strip them down to the studs, update the infrastructure, and deliver a truly modernized, safe property to the market. But there's a specific type of flip buyers need to watch out for right now, the cosmetic flip. This is where someone buys a distressed property, installs trendy finishes, paints everything white, swaps countertops, cheap fixtures, and puts in laminate flooring or vinyl flooring. They spend all their money on things you can see and zero money on things you can't. And visually, it looks incredible online. It looks like a new bathroom, but underneath the cosmetic upgrades, the important systems may have never been touched. They put a beautiful new vanity on a rotting subfloor or a brand new stainless steel appliance on an ancient, overloaded electrical circuit. And that's why buyers need to look deeper than staging in the photos. When was the roof replaced? What about the plumbing, electrical, HVAC, windows, foundation? Because new cabinets don't protect you from expensive repairs later. Pretty quartz countertop won't keep your basement dry during a rainstorm. A house can photograph beautifully while still being a financial disaster underneath. It's lipstick on a pig, and you don't want to be the one holding the bag when that lipstick wears off. And honestly, this is where buyers emotionally get trapped the most. The home looks modern, clean, move-in ready, so they stop asking deeper questions. They assume everything is perfect because it looks new. And that's exactly what you cannot do. And at the end of the day, this video is not about scaring you away from buying a home. It's about helping you buy intelligently. It's about empowering you to be a smart consumer in one of the largest transactions of your life. Because the difference between a dream home and a financial nightmare usually comes down to what you catch before you buy. And it's about doing your due diligence up front so you don't have to deal with the consequences later. The buyers who regret purchases later are usually the ones who ignored the warning signs because they became emotionally attached too quickly. They let their excitement override their intuition. So slow the process down, ask more questions, inspect everything, think long term, look past the cosmetic upgrades, and understand the true cost of ownership. Because buying the wrong house can absolutely set you back financially for years. It can drain your savings, strain your relationships, and steal your peace of mind. But buying the right one, that can completely change your future and build real lasting wealth. And if you made it this far, comment below, what's the biggest red flag you've personally seen while house hunting? I'm curious to hear your experiences, whether it was a crazy DIY job or a hidden issue you caught just in time because you got that inspection. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe. I post videos every single week to help buyers make smarter financial real estate decisions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.